We're in Judges chapter 20 today, looking at this gets worse from what we saw yesterday. The people of Israel, when they found out about the brutal rape and murder of the concubine in chapter 19, and when the Levite sends her body parts all over Israel to indicate what had happened, they get very riled up and decided that justice needed to happen. Now, I would mention as we look at this we find out in verse 28 that this is during the time when Phinehas was the high priest of Israel. And why that is important is because Phinehas would be the second high priest during the time of the judges. His father Eleazar replaced Aaron just before they entered the land, and then Phinehas replaced him. Now, what that means is that these events are not in chronological order in the book. So probably this had to happen in the first fourth of their time in the Judges, the first 70, 80 years at the most. So things were already turning very sour, very, very corrupt, long before the end of the book of Judges. So as we look at this, we find that the people of Israel want justice, and that's right. They send 400,000, verse 2, foot soldiers to go up to the Benjaminites, which was where these men were in Gibeah, who had done this awful thing. They want, in verse 10, to punish these men. But the Benjaminites would not listen. They would not turn the men over. For whatever reason, they got their backs up and wouldn't do it. And so we find that they prepare for war as well. So they have 26,000 men, verse 15, to go up against 400,000. Now, they had some good warriors. Verse 16, they had 700 choice men who were left-handed. I don't know why that matters, but each one could sling a stone at a hair and not miss. These are incredibly good warriors here, but even at that, they're way outnumbered. So Israel goes up against Benjamin, and they don't do very well. We find that in verse 21, that they lost 22,000 men the first day of battle. That's a major loss for sure. In verse 25, the second day, they lost 18,000. And so they lose 40,000 men already in their attempts to bring justice to these guys who had done this awful thing. Finally, though, however, they go up and they have victory. They set, in verse 33, an ambush against Benjamin and finally win the battle. Verse 35, because of this ambush, they struck Benjamin before Israel, so that the sons of Israel destroyed 25,100 of Benjamin. Now, that's very significant as we get into this story a little bit further here. But we had 26,000 foot soldiers came against Israel. All but 900 are dead. What a loss they had. Matter of fact, as we find later on in verse 47, there's 600 men that are left of the soldiers. I don't know what happened to some of the others. They flee to the rock at Rimma, and they stayed there for 4 months. So they're hiding out, knowing that everybody else has been killed. As a matter of fact, the indication is here that that the whole tribe of Benjamin has been wiped out. It doesn't say it directly right here, but apparently they have killed the wives and the children as well. So they have come to this place. They have devastated Benjamin. And the only people that are left are 600 soldiers hiding out at some kind of a fortress. And so now what are we going to do? And chapter 21 talks about what that might be. So we're looking at, again, some very ugly stories showing the very depth of sin that had encompassed the people of Israel, which apparently took place at this point in the first 60, 70 years that they were in the Judges, in the period of the Judges. So we have a very rapid deterioration of these people spiritually, and the Lord is showing us what happens when people totally abandon Him. And that comes even closer to being understood in the final chapter of the book of Judges that we'll look at tomorrow.